Sorry about that. My recording software ran out of time. But as I was saying, for this option here, where we left off, um, whatever predictor that you choose here, it's only going to compare that predictor to the other two. So in order to get this SD compared to SE, we'd have to run this again and either type in SD or SE in this panel. But for now, we're just going to go with MTL. And you can see now that I've jumped a little bit ahead, but we also want to use this third option, which is going to test the difference between two groups and give us RWAs for those two groups as well, which is cool. So we need to type in our grouping variable, which, as we already talked about, is conveniently named group. And we have our value 1, which that's just the values that the groups are assigned in your data set. So the first one is 1, like you saw in R, had all those ones listed, and then our second value is 2, like I said was there and that you trusted me about. Cool. So we're ready to go after inputting all that stuff, and you just click submit. And you're brought to this page where you can click here to download our code. As you can see here, I already have it downloaded and have opened it over in RStudio. And this is an earlier version, so it has 3 here, but this is exactly the same code, so not to worry there. And I've already run it, because it takes a while to run, so over when my recording ran out, I realized that I hadn't run it yet, so I went ahead and ran it. But nothing really has changed. You can see over here, this is where we left off in the console, and so we just got extra stuff added here because I ran what we downloaded, and this is my original stuff. This is what we downloaded. So you just go ahead and Control A, and that will run every line in this new set of code. You don't really need to understand what's in there. You shouldn't have any problems, so that's good to run. So Control A and then click Run, and you'll get kind of the stuff that I have down here. And then scroll through a bunch of stuff that they need to do to run all these bootstraps and things like that until you get to this white text. That is the results. So you got your R-squared statistic here. And then you're given just kind of the raw weights. This raw weight is the calculated weight, but what you're really interested in is this relative weight, which gives you like a percentage of the R squared that each variable accounts for. So 27% for MTL, 20% for SD, and 52% for SE. And that is the basic RWA stuff. If we hadn't checked anything else off, we wouldn't have any more inputs. But these next things are kind of those extras that we checked off. So first thing we have here is the significance. So we have each of our predictor variables here, and the way you tell if the relative weight is statistically different from 0 is if this CI lower and CI upper range includes 0. So like you can see, all of these are a negative number to a positive number. Oh, hey, look, I'm waking up in 8.5 hours. Cool. So they all do include 0. That means that they are all non-significant. If 0 is included in the confidence interval, then it is non-significant. Which makes sense because in our regression, we saw that none of our predictors were significant predictors. So no surprises there, although unfortunate. And this next set is our set of, well, this is actually a little bit of an edit by me, but what you should be seeing is just this, which is the comparison of MTL, which is not stated, but it's MTL to SD and SE. Remember, like I said, you're only going to see those comparisons, 2 comparisons at a time. So this is saying, is SD different from MTL? Oops. This one here is saying, is SD different from ATL. And look at these confidence intervals. This is negative, this is positive, so no, it's not different. Is SE different from MTL? Negative, positive. No, it's not different. And then this is kind of, I added that in there. I went back and ran the website again and edited the code a little bit so I could get the third and final comparison, which is SD to SE. You can see we have SD and MTL again. Again, still not significant, but this is the new one here, SE being compared to SD. Oh, hey, look, they are the same. Cool. That makes sense because we know that they are all not different from 0, so we would not expect for any of them to be different from each other. And then finally, our last box, we have group 1 compared to group 2. So we have some weight statistics computed for group 1, you see here. And then the relative weight, these are the ones you're interested in. Wildly different relative weights. And you can see this is the same information, but for group 2. So these two were wildly different relative weights. I assume that's attributed to the fact that this regression model is, well, the model is significant, but only because the error is significant, that these predictors are not actually significant predictors of the outcome. So these weights don't really mean much. Again, they're all not different from 0. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But so wildly different, but not really anything to talk about because we wouldn't even really be looking at them anyway because they were not significant. Yeah, which is what you can see here. They're still, despite the fact that this is a 3 and this is a 55, they are functionally or statistically the same. There's no statistical difference between the two. You get zeros in the confidence interval for all of them. Cool. So that is RWA and a little bit of multiple linear regression in R. Unfortunate that our regression was not actually significant for any predictor and that our predictor variables were not correlated with each other, so that the actual use of RA wasn't really necessary, but now you have an idea of if you come across that data that would need that type of analysis, maybe now you have an idea of how to do it. So that part is cool. I'll see you next time where hopefully I can learn to talk in a way that doesn't make my video last almost 24 minutes. Thanks for your time.